Everybody, this is John from Pioneer Nexus MTG coming at you with an explanation of the Pioneer Banlist. And this is a continuing discussion of our intro to the Pioneer format, and I'm not sure whether this particular video ended up being one or two videos because I didn't realize that some of the cards that were on the ban list are on the ban list. The first thing I should discuss is Fetchlands. I'm not going to discuss them individually. There are 5 of them that would be legal in the Pioneer format as opposed to all 10. They are banned because Wizards wanted mana to be a little bit worse in the Pioneer format than in formats like Modern and Legacy, where a combination of the Fetchlands, either Shocklands or the original Dual Lands, allow you to have basically perfect mana if you want, even if you're playing a 4 or 5 color deck. Since then, they've also printed the Tri-Lands, and it looks like an even better decision in that regard. Plus, they also wanted one format where the 2 broken Delve spells, Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time, are legal. So those are the stated reasons why that they banned Fetchlands in the format immediately. Some of these other cards are banned for slightly different reasons, but we'll get into that. Starting with Balustrade Spy. Now, Balustrade Spy will join another card later in the discussion. Basically, with the printing of all the modal-faced dual lands, the ones that are a spell on one side, a land on the other, Balustrade Spy can mill your entire deck for 4 mana. What this allows is any type of graveyard nonsense, most notably something like Thassa's Oracle, allowing you to win the game. And Wizards just kind of wanted none of that in the format, so hence the reason that it specifically has been banned is just the turbo mill ability that it allows. Felidar Guardian. This is one of many cards that is banned because it is basically an instant win combo. Felidar Guardian in conjunction with Saheeli Rai could be a turn 3, turn 4, play Saheeli on turn 4, Felidar Guardian on turn 4. The game is over. You play Felidar Guardian, blink something, Saheeli tick down, copying Felidar Guardian, comes into play, blinks target permanent. If this had said target creature or target anything but planeswalkers, maybe it would still be around just as kind of a value card, but it's banned because of that particular enabling combo, and Wizards was really pushing hard to get turn 4 instant win combos out of Pioneer. Field the Dead. Field the Dead's banned in both Modern and Pioneer, and this is simply because it allows decks to run no win cons other than Field the Dead. And simply put, it basically negates anything that isn't fast enough to kill before Field of the Dead comes online. This card was capable of coming online as early as turn 4 with a dedicated ramp style deck. It was also paired in its latter stages with Wilderness Reclamation to kind of form this 2-part combo where you had this Expansion Explosion combo, and you also had Field of the Dead to kind of overwhelm, kind of made traditional control decks irrelevant, and really made mid-range decks struggle. It's also banned in the Modern format for a very similar reason, so not terribly surprising that this card was banned in a smaller format than Modern. Inverter of Truth, part of the combo Winder grouping that was banned. This included Inverter and 2 other cards that we'll get to later on this list. Actually, I believe 3 technically. Inverter plus either Thassa's Oracle or Jace Wilder of Mysteries can be, basically you exile your deck, your graveyard goes into your library, then if you have a way to, say you only have 3 or 4 cards in your library and you have a way to draw a card or 2, play Thassa's Oracle, you win the game. The reason why this was banned is, simply put, they wanted to keep the Delve spells in the graveyard, and the Delve spells, particularly Dig Through Time, play quite nicely with the combo, allowing you to find both sides of the combo piece while really mitigating the size of your graveyard. This was one of the dominating decks in the Pioneer format for probably the better part of a year when Wizards was kind of largely ignoring the Pioneer format. But when they decided to clean up Pioneer and try to bring it back from the life support that was on for a little bit, this was one of the cards that got the boot. Kethis, very similar to Balustrade Spy, was banned because it is a graveyard enabling deck. Basically what happens is exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard. Each legendary card goes, you may play this card from your graveyard. Basically with self-mill effects and Mox Amber, you could potentially flip over most of, if not your entire deck, and then win with something like Thassa's Oracle. It was also a good value engine, so you had this kind of very quick combo combined with the ability. I forget what the specific cards are, but there was something Archivist. What every time you played a historic spell, you mill 2 cards, and then basically it allows you to get this loop going where you use Kethis to exile 2 cards, play Mox Amber, mill more cards, replay a Mox Amber, mill more cards, etc. And then you combine it with other cheap legendary creatures or just permanents, period, and then you get to this self-mill thing where you can mill yourself out. Win with Thassa's Oracle, plus you also have this graveyard engine that can overwhelm opponents, and that was one of the many reasons why it had to go. Bailout of Abundance was one of the first bannings in the format proper, outside of the initial banning of Fetchlands. Basically, this enabled mono green to be even more broken than it currently is. If you had this in your opening hand, not only was it 2 devotion for Nykthos, it also made your mana dorks tap for emotional mana, and it also covered one of the initial problems of these ramp style decks, which is it helps the ramp side and it helps the flooding side with the payoff ability of 6 and double green, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature. It and I believe Oath of Nissa were banned initially to try to mitigate some of the power of mono green. Now this is before mono green adapted the current technology and became the current powerhouse that it is. This is when it was more just devotion based, and it was even playing things like Burning Tree Emissary in it consistently. And this was just done to mitigate the speed and the power of that deck to try to allow the rest of the format to kind of catch up. Alright, another one of the cards banned, Nexus of Fate. Now this was banned in conjunction with Wilderness Reclamation. Basically it's banned for annoyance purposes. It allows you to, if you draw most of your deck, to literally have nothing but Nexus of Fate left in your deck. And because of the way it's templated, you don't actually get rid of it no matter what happens. It always goes from the graveyard into the library. It was just an extreme annoyance to play against, especially when you had Wilderness Reclamation, float some mana, untap, play Nexus of Fate, infinite combo there. It, along with Wilderness Rec and Field of the Dead, kind of got the axe, as well as one other card that was kind of a counter to the strategy. So basically got the axe because it was an annoyance to play against, and dominated Standard and was starting to dominate Pioneer whenever it got banned. Final card we're going to talk about on this one, Oko, Thief of Crowns. This was one of a myriad of powerful planeswalkers and value cards in the Simic color because they got banned. Basically, this card is just too powerful for what it does. It helps to nullify aggro decks. It nullifies any powerful creatures that don't have ETB abilities. It allows you to flip control of things or permanents, and it's just a menace overall. I mean, it's literally banned in Pioneer, Modern, and Legacy. It's just simply too powerful for what it does. If it cost 1 more mana, maybe it would have been playable, but just the fact that it was so overwhelmingly powerful, it was a threat, it was an answer, it was just too much value for a 3-mana Planeswalker. Like I said, we're going to do a part 2 of this video simply because there are so many cards on the Pioneer ban list. And frankly, I didn't even remember half of them that are on the ban list because I don't think about them. Like cards like Oko, Wilderness Reclamation I knew, but cards like Balustrade Spy I had completely forgotten were even legal in the format. Or I should say in the sets that are legal in the format. So we'll cover the other half of the cards that are banned in the format and why in a separate video.